get ready. This might be the best thing you've seen today.
He's going to play the rest of the day.
I can't believe what I just saw.
We got a ball game.
Reed Green Coliseum on the campus of Southern Mississippi. The Golden Eagles 6-1 at home this season, although they're home for just their third time in 44 days. And coming to the top, the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky University, the Conference USA preseason #1, 3-3 in Conference USA. And welcome courtside inside Reed Green Coliseum. Noah Kozlov alongside the all Big Tenor. It's Tim Doyle. Great to be back with you, pal. Western Kentucky, you ask coaches around the conference, Tim, they say, well, when they're right, they're without a doubt the best team in the conference. Do we know if they'll be right tonight?
I know, doesn't this game have letdown written all over it after an emotional win at home against Marshall? Now you come on the road against a dangerous Southern Miss team, but when they're right, I believe Western Kentucky is the best team in Conference USA.
And by the way, you're overdressed for the occasion.
I'll take the South.
Let's talk about Western Kentucky inside outside with Charles Bassey and Tavion Hollingsworth.
Yeah, let's focus on Bassey here because this will be his first and his final season in Bowling Green, Kentucky. He is all 6'11". He's strong, he's physical, he's got soft hands, and he is a next level talent. And on the flip side, Tavion Hollingsworth has really taken his offensive game to the next level. Averaged 13 points as a freshman, and now his offensive package is really starting to develop. And I think you have to credit Bassey because he gets so much attention that Hollingsworth has become that go-to guy that Rick Stansbury turns to when he needs a big bucket late. These two guys form what some would say to be the best duo in all of Conference USA. And Noah, they better come ready to play tonight because the guards on Southern Miss, they're the truth.
Yeah, let's talk about those two, but let's not dismiss Josh Anderson, who's coming off a career-high 25 against Marshall. So let's get into the backcourt for Southern Miss because it's going to be, I think, their defense more so than their offense that Western Kentucky has to worry about.
Well, I think their defense is going to have to force difficult passes down low to Bassey and really take Western Kentucky out of their offensive rhythm. Edwards is an excellent rebounder. He's already had 3 double-figure rebounding games this year, and he's only 6'2". And Griffin's a guy that can have 10 assists any single night he's on the floor. Western Kentucky's in a trap game. Southern Miss is looking for a signature win. Noah Kozlov, something has to give in this game tonight.
I'm just looking forward to 2 hours with Tim Doyle and Conference USA basketball. That's what we have coming up next. Western Kentucky, Southern Miss on Stadium. Inside Reed Green Coliseum, we're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Conference USA basketball, Western Kentucky 10-9 overall, 3-3 in conference. Southern Miss 11-8 overall, 3-4 in conference. They've won 3 of their last 4. The starting lineups: Delano Banton, along with Tavion Hollingsworth, Jared Savage, Josh Anderson coming off that career-high 25, and the big man, Charles Bassey. And for Southern Miss, Tyree Griffin, Cortez Edwards, Kevin Holland, Tim Rowe, and Leonard Harper Baker for Doc Sadler. The head coach at Western Kentucky, Rick Stansbury, the 59-year-old in his 3rd season. He's 345 and 203 in his NCAA career after those 14 years at Mississippi State. And for Southern Miss, it's Doc Sadler in his 5th season. A career record of 196 and 196 at Southern Miss, UTEP, and Nebraska. And it's the coaches versus cancer. Everybody wearing sneakers today, but you don't see the full casual look very often, but that's exactly what Southern Miss going with.
That coach looks like he just got off the beach.
He had that on at shoot-around today, and he figured, hey, had a good shoot-around, let's just stay with it. We've got 10 on the floor, everybody else with a nice view, and run away in Hattiesburg. Western Kentucky in the road reds, Southern Miss in the home whites.
Watch 23 in red. That's Charles Bassey. He's going to be matched up with Tim Rowe. That's going to be the matchup to keep your eye out on. He's working hard down low.
And he'll get doubled immediately whenever he touches the basketball. The 3 is long from Josh Anderson, and there's Bassey with a rebound, but he traveled.
And that has been an issue for him all season long. Nearly a 4-to-1 turnover to assist ratio for the 6'11" freshman. You know, Anderson made a couple big threes in the game against Marshall. If I'm a defender, though, I'm still going to beg him to shoot those shots, Noah, because he's so athletic. Shooting is something that he's still improving on, but the shots that he made against the Thundering Herd, that was the difference in the game.
Now 7 for 19 from 3 this season. Splitting the defense, the high arcer off the glass, no. And back comes Banton. 20 in red, finds Anderson. That's what he does well in transition. What an athlete.
Banton was the guy who flirted with a triple-double earlier this year against Wisconsin, just came up 2 points short. He's only a freshman. Rick Stansbury's got some horses here in the stable at Western Kentucky.
Always know he's going to get kids. Nice high-low. And the finish from Leonard Harper-Baker.
You see Banton bringing up the ball. He's 6'8". We don't see that too often in college.
You don't really have a true point guard. There is the pass down low to Bassey off balance. Tyreke Griffin.
And Rick Stansbury told us, Noah, that that's been an issue for them this year, finding that consummate point guard. Now that Lamonte Bearden is back, they're hoping he could be that guy.
Harper-Baker's got all 5.
He had only made 2 threes the whole year before that one. He shot it like it was going in.
He's now 17 for his last 27 from the floor in the last 5 games. 2 minutes gone by here in the first half. Anderson puts the ball on the floor, takes his second 3, and it swirls around and out.
That's going to be the scouting report, and Marshall lived by it, and unfortunately, they lost by it too. He made 2 big threes, and when he improves that part of his game, he will be the best player in this conference.
Baker again, he's got all 7.
Harper-Baker's coming off a huge performance. He only had 6 points, but 14 rebounds against Old Dominion. A game where they couldn't grab any rebounds. You see how they're guarding Anderson there? They're really begging him to shoot.
Tons of room. Hollingsworth, no. Banton the rebound, and 1.
Do you believe, Noah, that that's going to be the biggest key in this game is going to be, can Southern Miss compete, not win the backboards, but compete on the backboards? Is that going to be their biggest kind of hurdle or key in this game?
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. And if they're so focused on keeping Bassey off the glass, a guy like Banton can come down at 6'8", and even if he's playing on the perimeter, can then get something done on the glass. Tolu Smith also, when he comes off the bench.
Western Kentucky now in 2-3 zone. See Bassey, he's just directing traffic there in the middle.
Up top to Harper-Baker, able to collect.
Someone's got a cut here.
6 on the shot clock. Griffin lost it. It'll stay Golden Eagles basketball with 4 on the shot clock.
And we saw Western Kentucky do this against Marshall, where they switched defenses. Now they're going to go back to man-to-man with only 4 on the clock.
Edwards with Anderson on him. Gets a little bit of space and barely hits the rim. Banton up top to Bassey.
I mean, this isn't going to happen, but Banton's a freshman. Anderson's a sophomore. Bassey's a freshman. Don't you wish, in a way, it was like 1994 and these guys would stay in school?
Together.
Oh, boy.
And Western Kentucky could become the mid-major darling in the tournament. Holland, that's not his forte, putting the ball on the floor. Had knocked out of bounds, it'll stay here.
I think that Western Kentucky, if they get into the tournament, they could win multiple games. Obviously, they played a tough schedule this year. You see the excellent pass there by Banton. They knocked off Wisconsin, knocked off West Virginia. They've played some for-real games.
There's a steal by Hollingsworth. He lost it, have to put it up with 1 in the shot clock. Edwards leans, no. A fight for the rebound. It's going to stay with Southern Miss. They also beat, in Western Kentucky, they beat Arkansas, which snapped a 28-game home winning streak against non-conference teams. 7-6, 14 to go. You can have exclusive access to the best matchup stories and features when you subscribe to Stadium Plus. Gain access to 500 premium events, including college football, basketball, and baseball. Now go to watchstadium.com/stadium-plus/ or you know what? Let's make this whole thing a lot easier. Google Stadium Plus and click on the link and learn how to subscribe. Let's make it easy for folks. Tim Doyle, Noah Kozlov, Tim Doyle, the all Big Ten selection at Northwestern back in 2007. Does it feel that long ago?
It feels like 1987, to be 100% honest. Because what did R. Kelly say, right? When your body's saying one thing but your mind's saying the other. It was a song. I think it was Ignition or one of those. It's probably not a great topic to bring up right now.
No, not really.
A lot of people have been talking
the R.
about
Kelly
it, you know
lyrics
what I mean?
these days, wherever, to be honest with you. 15:52 to go in the first half. 7-6 Southern Miss.
I think it's my mind was telling me no.
Your mouth should be telling you no right now. Here's Holland working against Banton. Rowe and Cortez Edwards. All 7 points from Leonard Harper Baker. Still all 7. As the 3 is off the mark. Western Kentucky has won 8 of the 9 meetings between these two schools. Jared Savage misses the 3. The 1 does come with an asterisk. The Donnie Tyndall era, the win. Doc Sadler is 0-4 in his career at Southern Miss against Western Kentucky. Off the mark is Griffin. A fresh 30. Edwards penetrates. And Griffin will set things up with 20 on the shot clock.
You see the length of Western Kentucky. Nice job getting in the middle. Rowe's got to shoot that.
You know, last year, towards the end of the season, he was not hesitant to shoot that. Edwards, drive, kick, 3, Holland around and out. Here comes Banton. He can grab and go. The 6'8 freshman from Toronto carried it.
If you're Doc Sadler, though, you got to be thrilled with that look.
Sure.
Dribble penetration. First of all, Rowe could have shot that ball, and then, you get a great look from Holland there on the perimeter.
Doc Sadler, 8 stops as a Division I assistant coach before his first head coaching job came at UTEP back in 2004, and he took the team to the NCAA tournament.
Here's the deal against the zone. I always want to put a guy right there in Rowe's position that can make a play. I don't care if he's 5'11" or 4'11" or 6'11". Just have someone who can pass and shoot and score from that area.
Find that soft spot.
But if they can't, if they're not an offensive weapon, then they're no good there.
There's Rowe, little baby hook, and Tim Rowe has 2.
You got to be aggressive when you catch that ball in the middle against the zone, because that is, like you said, Noah, that soft spot.
Southern Miss +3. 6 minutes gone by. Anderson got cut off. Banton, Savage for 3 again. Off to the left, brought down by Edwards. Edwards hounded by Hollingsworth. The corner 3, long from Griffin. Rowe keeps it alive. More second chance opportunities for Southern Miss. And it's Gabe Watson, the freshman, has 2.
He's averaging just over 4 points a game. As a young guy, come in and get a quick bucket like that, it's a confidence builder.
Savage, strong take. Rowe met him. Bassey there, no. Harper Baker keeps it alive, and back comes Watson. Edwards sees Bassey, decides to think the better of it. Rowe for 3, long.
Do you think Edwards should have pulled up there?
I thought so, and then he saw Bassey and decided,
It was a good thought. All of a sudden was not a good thought. And here comes the double team, and Bassey's had trouble passing out of that. That's the right play there.
Floater from Hollingsworth. Tavion Hollingsworth set freshman records last year in points and minutes.
You're Doc Sadler, though. This zone has got a lot of empty holes in it where you could attack it, and they have had success. Check out Griffin here. He looks open.
There's Harper Baker. Rowe out of control, no whistle. And then the turnover the other way. Back comes Griffin. Griffin strong to the hoop, and he'll get rewarded. Josh Anderson fouling Tyree Griffin.
And you see the turnover here. Hollingsworth, he's trying to run the floor. Banton with an ill-advised pass, and then I'm surprised there. Griffin goes right at Anderson. Challenged him, forced the referee to make a call, gets himself to the free throw line. You know, as an offensive player, I did not play with the arc. But I think now, when the arc is there and someone's inside of it, that's the way you're supposed to attack them. You understand what I mean?
Right, sure.
Because they can't take a charge.
When you're outside the arc, that's when you can take the charge.
You go right at them, and I think that's something that Doc Sadler stresses to his outstanding guards, Edwards and Griffin.
That's what happens when you have experience, high IQ guys. Mustafa Jun, number 12 in red, enters the game for the first time for Western Kentucky. Lamonte Bearden also in. He was ineligible first semester. It's been more of their crunch time point guard as of late. He's got the basketball at the top of the key around the Bassey screen. They'll swing it cross court. Bassey looking for the ball. And a nice job by Boban Jadomi to be able to screen Bassey. Three, no, and there on the putback is Hollingsworth.
That's the problem when you play a zone, if you're Doc Sadler, is when a shot goes up, you've got to find someone in your area. That's why I liked playing a zone, because then I could just blame it on somebody else. Hey, I thought you had him.
There's the quick pass from Drain, who's in that soft spot again at the free throw line. Drain, one dribble, back out top. Griffin. Griffin leaves it off. Bassey might have gotten a piece of it. Now he has it in the backcourt.
That's great execution, though. Just unable to finish, but they are picking apart this Hilltopper zone.
First half moving along. Bassey, strong move. Got that inside position, Tim.
Yeah, I still think he could do a better job of using his body, because that is a special specimen there. It's 6'11". He's already built like a pro. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. He's got the body. Just a matter is the mind there yet. Dropped along the baseline and a turnover. And a great job by Griffin to poke that away right in front of us. Bearden saves it. We're tied at 12, 10.5 to go here in the first half.
Southern Miss in zone here as well. So I was keep getting Bassey touches down low. Play through him.
Western Kentucky, a 36% three-point shooting team. Hollingsworth, no, they make about 6 per game. Edwards, too short. 5 for 16 is Southern Miss. 6 for 16 is Western Kentucky. 11. No. Bassey there for the putback. Western Kentucky back in front for the first time since it was 2-0.
I think the best thing he brings to a basketball court is his timing. He really frustrated Ethan Happ, the All-American from Wisconsin, forced him to shoot 9 of 23 from the field. And it was his length along with his timing that frustrated a guy like Happ, who really has his way with defenders.
Griffin, 3-ball, no. Bassey got his hand on it. Out comes Western Kentucky. Hollingsworth up with the right hand. It's good, and the foul.
Oh, tough finish there by Tavion Hollingsworth. Rick Stansbury, star guard. Western Kentucky starting to make a push right now, and they're being led by their 6'11" star freshman, Charles Bassey. Stansbury's got a talented bunch, but no more talented than Mr. Bassey himself.
Looking for more great content from schools like Clemson, the National College Football Champs, and some of the top-ranked schools in college hoops? Of course you are. Follow at the ACCDN on Twitter and subscribe to the ACC Digital Network on YouTube.
You see Charles Bassey and what he has done this year among college basketball freshmen, and obviously there's some pretty good ones there in Durham. Looks like those two guys are going to go 1-2 in the NBA draft, but Bassey's a guy who has that sort of potential. I'd be surprised he comes back to school. Would you be, Noah?
I think it all depends on what type of intel he gets from NBA guys. Whether, are you a late 20s pick? Are you a lottery pick? Are you a top 10 pick? But it's tough to turn down that guaranteed money.
He had a 4.0 GPA his first semester at Western Kentucky. So Rick Stansbury's going to say, stay in school, get your education. I'd be telling him not so much.
From everything I've heard is he really enjoys college too, as Drain drains the three.
He struggled last game. He only had 3 points against ODU, but Davius Drain has had 9 double-figure games this year.
Anthony Hampton into the game for the first time. Corner three is well short.
Jung must make those in practice because he's shot like 4 of them the last 2 games, and none of them have gone in.
Loose ball. And a pretty finish from Lamonte Bearden.
Bearden's a senior, started his career at Buffalo, and I think he's going to end up being the X factor. If this team's going to win Conference USA, because let's be honest, it's a one-bid league. If Middle Tennessee doesn't get in last year after being ranked in the top 25,
tough.
You're going to get one team each and every year. So you're going to get into Conference USA tournament play. I think Bearden's going to end up being the X factor.
And a correction, it's 21 in red. Jake Omer, who's into the game for the first time, along with Tolu Smith, 0-0. There's Harper Baker, had the first 7 for Southern Miss, finds Edwards underneath. And he makes it a 1-point game.
I think Doc Sattler's got to be thrilled with the shot selection of Southern Miss. They only have 1 turnover so far. They've gotten some good looks, struggling from 3, but they're getting really good shots.
There is Omer along the baseline, a lot of contact, no whistle. There is Jun, and the possession error goes towards Southern Miss.
Southern Miss has been executing well against the zone. They're going to see a lot of different defenses from Rick Stansbury's crew. We got a good one down here in Hattiesburg. Western Kentucky with a 1-point lead.
(18-17) Western Kentucky in front. All 18 points for Western Kentucky have been in the paint. Stadium, your new way to watch national sports. The only 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Live and classic games, daily live studio, original programming. Check your local television listings or go to watchstadium.com. Stadium, a new way to watch sports. Welcome to the game.
Leonard Harper Baker has been doing it all so far. He's got 5 rebounds, 7 points. He had a nifty assist. I think he needs a few more touches on the offensive end. Although I really like the execution from Southern Miss against this zone. Once again, Western Kentucky staying in it. Let's see what Doc Sattler has cooking coming out of a timeout.
They place with Harper Baker in that soft spot, and they turn it over. Their third of the first half. Southern Miss trailing 18-17. Noah Kozlov, Tim Doyle, our stadium crew from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Just the 3rd time in 44 days that Southern Miss has played a home game. And there's Shakur Daniel, the freshman from Ontario, who pokes it away. Doc Sadler's team, when they fly out, they fly commercial everywhere. They've got to drive to New Orleans 2 hours and then fly everywhere. So when they come back home, Tim, they're actually not home when they land because they land in New Orleans and then they've got to drive 2 hours. Savage had it blocked from behind.
So they're basically like you and I when we call it, because we don't get the fly charter. Who do we have to reach out to at stadium to make this happen?
I mean, I'm a flight driver. I mean, private, yes. That's your own problem. You're on your own, pal.
That's what they're saying about UCLA. They still fly commercial.
3 in the corners, long from Drain. And Western Kentucky on the other side, they charter pretty much everywhere. There's a wide disparity of budgets within Conference USA. And still Doc Sadler's able to make his team competitive with some of the big boys. Bearden and one.
Oh, we gave a hard stare down there. Did you see that? Lamonte Bearden. Watch this. The ball hangs up there. This is like... But the ball hits him in the head.
So we can stare at Kevin Holland.
Nice job by our crew there.
And he followed him too.
John with the great shot there of the reaction. Hats off to our cameraman, our great crew working on this stadium broadcast. Lamonte Bearden and John Elmore were going back and forth in Western Kentucky's last game against Marshall. And Elmore told me before the game that's his favorite matchup because Bearden talks the entire game.
Who was the best trash talker in the Big Ten when you played? Or a notable one, how about that?
Probably Darren Williams, who when I played against him when he was at Illinois, he was fat. Like he was a guy who really trimmed down, got to the NBA. And at one time, Noah, might have been the best point guard in the NBA for like a year or two. He was that good.
Up top, but too high for Harper Baker. Banton can't finish in transition, but Bassey, like a good teammate, he's always there.
Bassey's got 8 points and 8 rebounds. He is on his way to a double-double in the first half.
And Doc Sadler will talk things over with Western Kentucky jumping out to their biggest lead at 6.
And turnover, we just talked about how they've been executing. I love this pass here by Anderson. Young people watching this game, when you have the ball, look down the floor, give it up. And Bassey, once again, that timing, I think the best attribute of his game. And Western Kentucky now with its largest lead of the game at 6.
All their field goals have come in the paint. 22 of their 23 points, and the one at the free throw line. Neither team shooting the ball well from 3. Southern Miss 2 for 8. Western Kentucky 0 for 7. Charles Bassey's team coming off that win on Monday against Marshall, 68-59. Season low in points, 59 points for Marshall. And there is that battle in the paint tonight.
I would like to see Harper Baker get some more touches.
Almost a turnover out of the timeout. And Southern Miss, a team with their good guard, not a team that turns the ball over very much, about 9.5 per game. It's going to stay with Southern Miss with 24 on the shot clock. Rose going to have to come back and get it near midcourt. He does. Now Anthony Hampton, 21 in white, into the game for the first time. Griffin at the free throw line. Good pass to Harper Baker. He's got 9.
I thought that should have been an N1. I thought Bassey kind of lazily, if that's a word, swiped at it and should have been an N1.
And Bassey, there's a foul on Bassey on the other side. Pushing off Tim Rowe.
Yeah, the curl sets this up because you're able to bring 2 defenders and then see that? I think you got a piece of him there. Maybe not. That one.
Maybe just a little bit of the ball.
As a defender, you never just want to flail your arm like that. It gives the referee really an excuse to call a foul on you.
It's been a clean first half. Just the first foul on Bassey, second on the team. The other side, just 3 fouls this half for Southern Miss. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. There's Rowe again at the free throw line. 3-pointer on the way for Griffin. No.
What do you think the number is going to be, Noah, that they're going to have to make 3s to win this game, Southern Miss?
Well, Southern Miss makes 8 per game, so I'm going to think they're going to need 9 or 10 to win it.
I agree.
Anderson keeps the pivot foot, reverses to the right side. No, Bassey there once again. He's got 10. 10 points, 8 rebounds in the first half for the freshman big man.
This was the story in Southern Miss's last loss against ODU. They give up 23 offensive rebounds to the Monarchs.
Harper Baker. Anderson the rebound. Southern Miss coming off that 76-60 loss against ODU. They allowed 22 offensive rebounds, and they committed 13 turnovers. Not a recipe to win. And leaving Savage open in the corner. He hits 3, and Doc Sadler calls timeout.
And that was all set up by the Josh Anderson penetration. Western Kentucky, their largest lead of the game. They're up 9.
Coming up at the end of the month, a special treat for you, Stadium All Access with the highly ranked Nevada Wolfpack. Here's a sample of what to expect.
Want me spinning? Am I just staying at you or am I laughing at this? Okay.
That all-access, hard knocks type stuff is great. Running with the Pack comes your way January 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern on Stadium. Here in Hattiesburg, the home team trailing Western Kentucky 28-19. For Southern Miss, 2 for 9 from 3, and the points in the paint all Western Kentucky, and that's what Doc Sadler was afraid of at 24-10.
At 24 of their 28 points. (1-3-1) now. You see Savage with that 6'5" frame out front. Now they drop back in the 2-3 zone.
Harper Baker gave it away. Savage got his hand on it. Bassey comes up with it.
And you got older guards, Noah. They have to spot that out when teams change defense, and that time they got caught.
It looked like Edwards was directing Harper Baker to come up to the free throw line, which I know you liked, but then the pass was ill-advised. Hollingsworth blocked from behind. 3-on-2. Harper Baker trails, and he's fouled.
Well, they're not going to get Bassey on this. They're going to go Savage. Let's see if he reaches in.
Caught him with the body as Harper Baker went by. And Harper Baker will shoot 2. Just a 50% free throw shooter, and he's short on the first. Did a career high 14 rebounds, Tim mentioned earlier, to go along with 5 blocks against ODU on Saturday. We got a lane violation. Whistled on Ladavius Drain, and Doc Sadler's seen it all over his 13 years as a head coach. A whole lot longer as an assistant, and we've got a whistle away from the ball. The foul is on Rowe, trying to contain Bassey, who already has his 9th double-double of the season, 10 points, 10 boards.
I was super impressed the way he matched up, like I talked about earlier, with Ethan Happ, and then he's been pretty consistent for a freshman. It hasn't been these wild ups and downs.
Anderson short. Towards end of games is where it seems like the game speeds up a little bit too much for him as Harper Baker gets around Bassey that time. And that'll just come with, as the season progresses, being able to try to slow things down when you're the man at the end of a game.
Yeah, he's got to cut down on the turnovers, though. Like, he walks sometimes, and it almost looks like he doesn't know how his body did it.
Hollingsworth missed the 3 out of bounds off of Savage.
You see that, you know, Bassey has had his hands full with his matchups, but he's lived up to it. And Taco Fall's a guy who's missed like 7 shots his whole career at UCF. They're having an outstanding year. They beat up on Tulane last night. But he has been up to the challenge and just an outstanding kid off the floor as well.
Hampton way too strong on the three. We're going to look back at halftime on that Western Kentucky-Wisconsin victory for Western Kentucky. Under 2 to go. Just daring them to shoot. There's Bassey. Here comes the double team. Swinging across to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth 3 for 7 in this first half. 0 of 2 from deep. Treating Josh Anderson like he's Ben Simmons. And Anderson finishes like he's Ben Simmons. Lead back up to 9 for the Hilltoppers. Who've won 2 straight, just 2 and 6 on the road this season. Rowe keeps it alive all by himself. And Southern Miss gets time. What an effort by 12 and White.
And the Mount Zion product hustling after the ball. He's had his hands full in this game. You're going up against one of the best freshmen in America. He hasn't backed down. On the other end, you pointed out how they're just going to beg Josh Anderson to shoot that ball. Are you surprised that Ben Simmons hasn't developed anything as far as a three-point shot?
Shocked. And a few years ago, I saw him playing, called his games in a high school tournament and at Montverde, and he was pulling up from 3 with no problem, without a hesitation.
Yeah, I think
so it makes me think that it's more mental.
And I think it's a fair comparison because athlete-wise in Conference USA, Josh Anderson is comparable to what Ben Simmons is in the NBA. And he took over that game against Marshall. He talked about the 25 points being a career high, but he banged down 2 threes. Now, when he's able to make threes, well, now no one can guard him. And I said this during that game. If he starts just being capable from that area, he will be the best player in the entire league. And that's including Charles Bassey. Anderson will be the best player in the league.
But Madison Prep Academy in Baton Rouge. Saw him play in high school, too. He's a 4-star recruit, won 3 state titles there. Out of the timeout, almost a turnover. He D's up Edwards, does Josh Anderson. Now Edwards around the screen, right elbow. Yikes. A minute to go here in the first half. Western Kentucky up by 9. And a timeout from the visitors. This is game 4 of 5 in 10 days for Western Kentucky. And though, look, a lot of their games in which they've led it to half, Tim, they've had 6 losses when they've led it to half, and 4 were 7+ point leads. They've blown big leads in the second half.
You know, this is a team that when I look at their schedule, they might be the best 10-9 team in college basketball. 3-3 in conference, but there's almost 6 games that you could turn around. Now instead of being 10-9, you're 16-3 and you're like receiving votes. And you're on everybody's radar as far as sleeper team. But Rick Stansbury told us time and time again, he really likes this team. And he knows that it's still a work in progress, but they certainly have all the pieces to be special.
Austin ODU by 3, Marshall by 1, FIU by 1. And in that game against FIU, that was the one at home, up 16 with 12 minutes to go. All those games, they led by 15 at one point. Savage, just that. Lead is 12 for Western Kentucky.
Savage leads the team in threes made. 43 coming into the game. Anderson got hit in the face here. So we could check to see if there's any blood. And watch right here. Anderson. Ooh. You know, people ask me what I miss about basketball. I don't miss that.
Anthony Hampton. Caught him square in the nose. Looks like Hampton was losing his footing, and now the officials will see if that was excessive or not.
Spot on. I think that's a great observation. You're right, his foot kind of gave out on him there.
didn't appear to be intentional.
Interesting song choice here by the arena. They went Billie Jean. I would love to get in the thought process. Someone gets injured, you throw out Billie Jean.
Well, yeah. Trying to connect the dots and just
So is I.
just can't do it.
You know, maybe Beat It, because he's gonna have to go to the locker room, would be a better fit.
Something by House of Pain, maybe. Up next for Southern Miss, Saturday against Marshall. That game on Stadium. You'll be here for that one.
Yeah, John Elmore, who I have a man crush on, for Marshall. I think right now, the leading candidate to be Player of the Year in Conference USA as you see our other great slate of games. Where will you be, my friend?
Well, we've got San Francisco, San Diego, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, so let's work backwards here. Then Marshall, Southern Miss. And then I'll be at Wyoming, Boise State with Tim Scarborough and Kristen Balboni. That game is on Facebook, which you can catch exclusively on Facebook at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going from here. It's that always booked flight. It's always sold out. The Hattiesburg to Boise flight. Always tough to get a seat on that one.
The only time I've ever thought about that is when I used to play the Oregon Trail. There was a massive river you had to get over at some point.
Sure. Just got to avoid dysentery. It's a 12-point lead for Western Kentucky, and not exactly sure what they're continuing to talk about.
Here's the deal with the reviews. We got to get a clock on. We got to put a shot clock on the reviews.
Now see if Josh Anderson is bleeding or not. Rick Stansbury takes a look at him again. I'm trying to see if the nose is contorted, if he broke the nose.
I don't want to see that. You want to see that?
Well, I don't know. He's got the towel over it, trying to play doctor from 30 feet away.
Now, they may be, Doc Sadler doesn't look happy.
You can read lips, the "Are you freaking kidding me?" as he goes over things with Darren George, part of the crew here.
Let's see if he slips, like you said.
No, he turned his left ankle. Turned his left ankle and fell into him. Darren George, Brent Hampton, and Marquise Pettigrew. So they are ruling a flagrant foul as official Darren George comes over to talk to us. No, let Tim explain as he gets the explanation from Darren George.
Yeah, so since it was an elbow to the face, it's 2 shots for Western Kentucky, and they get the ball.
So it's a flagrant 1.
Correct.
2 shots on the ball. And Anthony Hampton, the one being penalized. The first day back on campus for students here at Southern Miss from the winter break. Been off 6 weeks. First day back. And I know some students have come out because at halftime, one is going to have a shot at $20,000. Our crew will capture that and let you know and let you see that in the second half.
Maybe get them a jersey. Maybe they could bang down some threes as Southern Miss has struggled from 3-point range. We said they were going to have to make between 8 and 10, and so far in this game, only 2 threes for the Golden Eagles.
Both teams 2 for 10 from deep. Shot clock, game clock, just about identical.
And they're going to get Bassey here in a pick and roll. When he dives, that's going to free open some shooters. Here comes the screen. He dives. There's a shooter.
Savage, the shooter, around and out. Harper Baker's got to put it up, and he doesn't get it off in time. Western Kentucky a 34-21 at the half, but as Rick Stansbury knows, no lead is safe at the half. They're 5 and 6 when leading at the half. back at halftime here in Hattiesburg. Western Kentucky, a 13-point lead on the road. We referenced their big win over Wisconsin back on December 29th. Western Kentucky, just one of 10 teams with a win against each Power 5 conference over the past 2 seasons. So let's take a look back at some sights and sounds from the big win in Madison.
That's what a team's about right there.
Yes, sir.
For 40 minutes, stay together and play together. I gotta say this, we had some guys that just had to play off that bench, hadn't played in a while. But I'm gonna tell you, came on there, man. That's what team effort's about right there. Played your butts off. Played your butts off. And you play hard and you play with effort. It overcomes so many things. That's what we did. We took a team, they were giving up 61 points. Hey, I mean, we were scoring 83. That's the team we all know we can become like that. We saw glimpses of it last Saturday. They got their eyes full of it this Saturday. And you all know what's getting ready to happen now, don't you? Whole new season, everybody else gonna get ready to see what else we got to. Yeah.
And that's how the non-conference part of the schedule ended for Western Kentucky, and they've started off 3-3 in Conference USA, and they've started off this one in Hattiesburg with a 34-21 lead at the half. Stats and highlights when we come back. No cares in the world for that Southern Miss fan, despite the Golden Eagles trailing by 13 at the half. You don't want to miss the best college basketball show on Facebook, not just because Tim Doyle's on it, Kristen Balboni is as well. It's College Hoops Weekly, Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern. We'll preview the biggest matchups, take a look back at the top highlights of the week, react to fans' questions and comments. You can catch College Hoops Weekly every Wednesday at 7:30 only on Facebook. And he's out of the studio, and he's next to me here in Hattiesburg. Tim Doyle, Noah Kozlov, courtside at Reed Green Coliseum here at Southern Miss. So Southern Miss trails by 13. For Western Kentucky, it seemed like whatever they wanted in the paint, they got it.
Yeah, it was really a domination. 26 points in the paint for the Hilltoppers. As for Southern Miss, they're going to have to come out in the second half and bury some threes.
Yes, let's take a look at some first half highlights, starting with Leonard Harper-Baker, who opened the scoring with Southern Miss's first 7.
Yeah, he had 11 points in the first half, 6 rebounds, did a good job of being aggressive, set a tone. No one else on the Southern Miss squad made more than 1 field goal in the first half besides Harper-Baker. And on the flip side, want to see some high percentage shots? Watch this highlight tape, because Charles Bassey got a lot of those the first half. A double-double in the first half, 10 points, 11 rebounds. And if you combine how far away he shot all of his shots from, it would equal 18 inches, because it was literally on top of the rim every time he was taking a shot.
Southern Miss led 11-6 at the 13-minute mark, then a 28-10 run closed out the half. Plus 13 for Western Kentucky to open up the second half. Went down at the half, Southern Miss 2-5, went up at the half, just 5-6 for the Hilltoppers. Last year, 22-1. This year, they have collapsed with some big leads in the second half. 4 coming on 7-point leads or more, and right out of the timeout, or right out of the second half, it's a turnover, but a missed layup. And now Banton hits the deck hard. And being called over by the trainer right away. As you see Josh Anderson there, he's got the nose bandaged up. Now Benton's going to have his nose looked at also. So he gets tripped by Kevin Holland and then face first.
You know, I was watching him, Banton, come out on the floor, and he was having a tough time getting loose. And him and Tyreek Griffin were talking about how cold it is in here. I was watching the whole conversation. And then he throws the ball away, and then Griffin misses a layup. I mean, that sequence is not going to be sent to Springfield.
No. Sequence.
Let's just hope that he's okay.
Probably won't leave Hattiesburg. He's sitting on the bench now. There's Hollingsworth. He's had a quiet first half. Dangerous pass into the far corner. Now 13 on the shot clock. Bearden almost traveled. Anderson will shoot the three. It's short. They'll continue to let him shoot as Harper Baker grabbed the rebound.
That's good defense. Marshall did the same thing. He buried them. That's why they won that game.
Edwards 1 for 5 in the first half with just 2 points. Harper Baker's the only Golden Eagle with more than 1 field goal made. Rowe had it blocked, but a foul on Josh Anderson.
Yeah, Rowe's saying this basket is good.
I thought they were actually going to call a goaltender.
If we could see that one more time. Great job getting that replay ready. Let's see if this ball's coming down. What do you think, partner?
Couldn't tell here. How about from this angle? I think he could have called it.
Oh, yeah, he definitely could have called it, but I don't think it was blatant.
So Tim Rowe at the free throw line gets 2, where he is a good free throw shooter. Came in 17 for 23, and we spotlighted Edwards and Griffin more so for their defense and offense in the open, but those two are combined 1 for 10.
Well, Edwards has had some big games this year. He had 26 early in the year against Troy. Griffin is coming off a 20-point performance in their loss to ODU. Both those guys have had a tough time getting going.
They haven't gotten going together as Bearden misses the 3. Griffin gets the rebound, and he's fouled. It's going to be a foul on Savage. And for Savage, that's his second. Those two, Griffin and Edwards, haven't scored in double figures in the same game since December 21st. Rowe at the elbow. Throw, right elbow. Around and in.
Whoever's at that elbow needs to be aggressive. Like, if I was Doc Sadler, I would put Griffin in there. He's my best passer. That way, when he gets the ball, he can make something happen, either on the dribble or shoot that jump shot. Kids, if you're watching this game, I know it's an unusual shot to practice. You got to practice that, like, back to the basket free throw jumper, because you're going to get it. You ever watch guys work out and they like jump rope, they hop over a chair? Like, that will never happen during a game. What will happen is you will catch the ball with your back to the basket, and do you have an offensive move there? I always watch trainers that have you like chew gum, jump on a box, then shoot a jump shot. That will never happen in a game.
Whoa! Jumping over the box is Josh Anderson.
That will happen in a game.
He spent some time jumping rope, but not many kids can do that. The answer is no good from Cortez Edwards. 36-24, Western Kentucky. Anderson, one dribble, kicks it back out to Savage, not a clean catch. Hollingsworth feeds Bassey. Doesn't get the double team, and then he didn't know what to do with it. Who's expecting that double team?
Nice job by Edwards there to get a hand on the ball.
They are desperate for something from one of the guards as Harper Baker will go to the line and shoot 2.
Now watch the sophomore fly in here out of nowhere. A bad nose and all. Rumor has it he said, "Cut me, Mick," at halftime, but he could see fine.
And Harper Baker connects on the first free throw.
Somebody tweeted that. It's a lie. I completely just made that up.
Why?
Just my favorite movie is Rocky, right? Here he is flying it again. Do you think he has Player of the Year potential?
Yeah, if he can work on, if he can get that shot.
Yeah, it's all about the shot, no doubt.
He does.
He's bouncy. They had him playing point guard earlier in the year when they were when Bearden was out, they were trying to figure out their lineup. So he's got a unique skill set.
Yeah, and he didn't really excel there. He is a natural wing. If he can get that shot down, he can make a lot of money playing basketball.
Well, because he's such a good athlete, he could be like that D and 3 type, but right now just no 3.
Savage has the 3. That's his 3rd from downtown.
He's really a nice compliment, the Austin Peay transfer, because he gives them that ability to stretch the floor.
Played 2 years for the Governors as Rowe has it. There's that spot. He's going to get that shot all night.
But it's an unusual shot to practice. Like, who practices a shot where your back is facing the rim? But I'm telling you, you got to work on that.
Anderson was bodied up by Drain. He threw it away. That's off a foot. And that's going to be Western Kentucky basketball. We'll get a replay of it. It went off a foot. And I could see it from across the court here, just a matter of which foot it went off of.
That's off.
That's off of Bearden. That should be Southern Miss basketball. Now 13 on the shot clock for the Hilltoppers. Feed Bassey, the big man eats. He's got 12 to go along with 12 rebounds. Three is good, the answer from Ladavius Drain. Shoots nearly 50% from 3. He's 2 of 3 from downtown tonight. Savage, drive, kick, Bearden, 3. He answers. So the offense coming alive here in the second half. Drain again. Yes! Anderson. No one steps in front of number 4.
Yeah, it's one thing to back up and beg him to shoot. It's another thing just to run away from him.
Got to give this back to Drain, right? Heat check.
You got to move it out to basketball.
Holland. Oh! Everybody hits. But Western Kentucky still up by 9.
You got to get a stop here. Crowd wants to get involved. Bench has come alive. Energy's starting to pick up. This becomes an important stop in this game.
Hollingsworth gives it up with 4. Anderson again, and the body and the foul. Put the ball in the hands of Josh Anderson, and he makes things happen.
They got into the lane, got into the free throw line. Southern Miss trying to crawl back in this game at home. They're down 9. Western Kentucky has a 9-point lead thanks to sensational freshman in red, number 23, Charles Bassey. Watch him on this play in the position that he gets. This is important to learn if you're a big guy. He's on the opposite box. Watch how he does not come outside the lane. So he stays in that lane, he starts body and row, and then he doesn't lose position. So many big guys, once they get bumped, they kind of float out. Now, instead of catching the ball where you can go right up and score, now you catch the ball 6 feet away. Now you got to make a post move. Bassey has done a great job in this game with his 6 field goals of keeping everything within what? Noah, a 2-foot radius?
It's a man's body, and he gets what he wants, and everything's around the basket.
You know, it's sexy now to stand out in the perimeter and shoot threes, and once in a while, you just have to realize I'm actually bigger and stronger than everybody else, and I'm just going to play bully ball, and that's what Bassey's done in this game. He's willed this team to a 9-point advantage.
Rick Stansberry offered him his first scholarship when Stansberry was an assistant at Texas A&M. Then he followed him to Western Kentucky. Josh Anderson at the free throw line. Anderson has 9 points.
Well, Southern Miss has buried 3 threes here in the second half. 3 of 4. We said that they were going to have to make between 8 or 10 to be in this game.
6 minutes gone by in the second half, and Western Kentucky holds plus 10. Drain, he can't miss. Ladavius Drain, 3 straight threes for number 11. Hollingsworth, they need a stop, and they get it. Drain on the rebound. Back comes Griffin. Gotta find number 11. Savage right up on him. Griffin gets it back. Griffin lays it in, and it's a 5-point game.
And his first basket of the game, he was 0 of 7 to that point. Southern Miss crawling back.
Here comes Griffin again.
Good defense there by Savage. He didn't go to the ball. He stayed with Drain, the shooter. Sometimes you got to know personnel. When someone's in a rhythm like that, you're better off finding the guy who's hot.
Savage all over Drain, denying him the basketball. 5 on the shot clock. Griffin, nowhere to go, and it'll stay with Southern Miss with 4 on the shot clock.
Yeah, he was waiting for the help defense to come. Excellent passer Griffin is, the Oklahoma State transfer. Now Doc Sattler's got to pull something out of his bag of tricks. Banton checks in the game after that hard fall early in the second half. He's got a bandaged up chin.
Harper Baker on the inbounds pass. You called for Doc Sattler to pull something out, and that's exactly what he did. 3-point lead for Western Kentucky. And Rick Stansberry has read this story before. His team led by 13 at the break, and it's plus 10 so far in the second half for Southern Miss. Come on back to Reed Green. If you haven't sampled it yet, you should. Check out Stadium's Monday through Friday programming lineup. We start today 10 Eastern. Our morning show is called Territory. The Territory takes you through the biggest stories in sports across the country. Then Sauce and Shram moves up 3 hours, airs at noon, followed by a new high school show. It's called Emerge at 2. Campus Insiders at 2:30. And we wrap up the day by setting you up for the night in sports with The Rally. Game time in America at 6. Stadium, a new way to watch sports. Welcome to the game. Ladavius Drain.
Yeah, he's been the story here in the second half. He's had 12 points, 4 or 5 from 3. Southern Miss has banged down 4 of their 5 3-point attempts, 8 of 10 from the field. I thought they had good looks in the first half. They just weren't burying any of them. Now 6 of 15 from 3. Can they get to that magic number of 10 made threes?
Banton comes out with the 3. Just 7 of 30 coming into the night from 3. And it quiets the crowd momentarily. Edwards, soft spot, too strong. Put back, no.
I like that there. That's an adjustment by Doc Sattler to get his guard in a scoring position.
Hollingsworth, head fake, floater, got it. 5 straight out of the timeout for Western Kentucky.
And the Hollingsworth one you can live with. That's what he does. But the Banton one's a killer. You talked about the percentages. That is not his strength.
Drain. Oh! Drano for the 4th time in a row. Savage can't it alive. Drain got it back.
And watch Drain here.
While you're up. Oh, this time it's short. Rebound by Savage and the foul.
That was a nice job by Griffin. He was looking for his shooter. They dap each other up. Says, I got you. I'll find you in transition. Drain's been a one-man wrecking crew here, imploring his Golden Eagles back in this game. They're down 5.
Some close runs around Conference USA as we've gotten accustomed to. 54-52, Rice, Middle Tennessee, North Texas up a point on UAB. La Tech up 10 during the first half against Marshall. ODU, UTEP early. Back here at Southern Miss where Clarence Weatherspoon, it's his scout tonight. Third-year assistant coach, second all-time in points here at Southern Miss. Just 6 points shy of the all-time record behind Nick Revon. Did it in the 1950s. 9th overall pick of the Sixers back in 1992. Sixers drafted Baby Barkley out of Southern Miss 3 days after they traded Charles Barkley to the Phoenix Suns in that famous trade. And there is the number 35 hanging up in the rafters.
As a young kid growing up in the Philadelphia area, Noah, did you have a Clarence Weatherspoon jersey?
I did not. Those Sixers uniforms at that time were awful looking. Awful looking. But when I was here last year, I got to talk to Spoon for a while, and a bunch of my childhood buddies appreciated the photo we got together. Yeah, Spoon was all rookie, second team that year with some other names that you'd recognize. Savage, no. And he stepped out of bounds. Oh. So they get the stop, but Gabe Watson stepped out of bounds. It's a freshman mistake at a bad time about midway through this second half with his team trailing by 5.
Yeah, well said, partner. Doc Sadler knows that he's going to have to count on Watson in the future here. He's had some bright moments, but that one not so much. As you see, Drain has really been the story in the second half. 4 or 5 from 3.
He connected on those 4 straight that brought Southern Miss back in it. There comes the double team. Jump hook is well short. Savage had it, lost it. It'll be Southern Miss basketball. Now, I mentioned that all-rookie second team. It was Richard Dumas, Robert Horry, Latrell Sprewell, Walt Williams, and Clarence Weatherspoon coming out of Southern Miss. They used to pack this place to see Spoon. An air ball from Edwards. Edwards now 1 for 8. Banton up top to Bassey. Pure strength from the freshman.
I like what Doc Sadler has done, though. He keeps flashing in Edwards. Western Kentucky gets that 2-3 zone. But there's a lot of holes in that zone, especially the way Southern Miss is shooting the ball. I'm surprised that Rick Stansbury went back to it.
So how else can you attack it aside from bringing the guy up to the free throw line?
Yeah, we'll check out this pass here from Banton, and then I'll answer your question. I do think you got to screen the zone once in a while. Just set a ball screen, because in the zone you're guarding an area. This is just a better pass or finish. What do you think, partner?
That's a pretty good finish, because Bassey wasn't in the perfect position to catch that either. The foul was on Hollingsworth. Just his first.
And now they're back to man-to-man in Western Kentucky.
Watson trying to atone for his mistake, and the freshman buries it. Lead back to 5. Southern Miss shooting 62.5% from the floor in this second half. 5 of 7 from 3. Hollingsworth answers right back.
That was an excellent job by Hollingsworth, recognizing the defender went under the screen.
And a turnover. Back comes Banton, and he's fouled out near midcourt by Drain.
But this is what Hollingsworth has added to his game, is how he picks and chooses his spot. Watch how Edwards goes under. And right when he goes under, he goes, cool, you're going to do that? I'm just going to stop. Perfect rotation on his shot. He's averaging almost 16 points a game after averaging 13 as a freshman, but it's his offensive package that has really been diversified this year.
And a turnover And Rick Stansbury is sick about it on the sideline. The coach is wearing the sneakers for Coaches versus Cancer. Edwards gave it up. Now he gets it back. The three off the back iron. Harper Baker the rebound. An air ball for three in the corner from Griffin. Another opportunity, loose on the floor. Hollingsworth rips it away. He's having all sorts of trouble controlling the basketball, and he double dribbled.
Yeah, he had Omer. I don't know why he didn't throw it to him there, but the turnover for the sophomore, it just seems like Western Kentucky's had an answer as Southern Miss has made a push in the second half.
With 8:41 to go, we've got a timeout in a 57-49 lead for Rick Stansbury's Western Kentucky team on the road. Western Kentucky in front by 8 with 7:59 to go. Let's go deep diving, Tim Doyle.
Well, you used to go down to Florida, and Dan D'Antoni told me if you just stayed awake, you were going to go 2-0. Not so much anymore. New blood down there. Jeremy Ballard's done a great job at FIU. They're leading Conference USA in scoring per game. And Dusty May at FAU, they've had some nice wins as well. North Texas, I know they've played a pretty easy schedule, but they've gone out there and won nearly every single game. And then if loving John Elmore is wrong, I don't want to be right. He's been awesome this year, averaging over 20 points a game. As him alongside CJ Burks makes up, in my eyes, the best backcourt duo in Conference USA.
And with this bonus play coming up over the final few weeks of the season, it's going to be pretty wild to see how this whole thing plays out with the 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and the rest in the 3 different pods.
Edwards got to try to score here. I know he's trying to be a facilitator here, but he's got to look at the basket.
10 on the shot clock for Griffin. Goes to the basket, kicks it back out, drained. Why not? Bassey, the strong board. Drain's got a career tying high at 5 threes made. That's a sloppy pass, and Griffin has it the other way. Griffin to the hoop. That's not a pass that you teach anybody to throw.
Now, I saw Rick Stansbury put Jared Savage and one of his assistants in a headlock directly after that pass is thrown.
Bearden, Banton. Rebound pulled down by Harper Baker. That's his 12th to go along with 15 points. Griffin, a little hesitation. Harper Baker got in his way. It's a 6-point game. Edwards, he turns and faces. He listens to you, Tim.
Shooter with confidence. Southern Miss. Alligator blood in this game. Hanging around, hanging around.
Edwards just 2 for 9, but he hit it when it mattered. The lead is just 4. Hollingsworth, too strong. But a fresh 30 for the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky just 2 and 6 on the road.
When things start going awry like this is when I want to get Bassey a touch.
Southern Miss 6-1 in this building this year. Like Bassey had position. Hollingsworth, the step back mid-ranger, too strong.
Yeah, I agree, partner. I think they missed the big fella there.
Griffin lost it, got it back. Watson around and out.
Good luck, though. Good offense.
They'll take it.
Griffin's done a great job of just repeatedly getting in the lane over the last 10 minutes or so. He's found Drain. Really been a leader of this offense.
There is Bassey, immediately double teamed, and Griffin knocked it out of bounds. Nice job getting a hand in there as Kevin Holland checks back in. Watson out. Josh Anderson back in.
Yeah, watch Bassey here. I think he's a little bit tired, but watch how he's so physical down low, and he's got a huge advantage over Harper Baker from a size standpoint, 5 inches to be exact.
Bassey stands at 6'11", 245 with a 7'3" wingspan from Nigeria. Savage, I like his game. Takes to the basket, and he'll take himself to the free throw line. Jared Savage, a local kid from Bowling Green, Kentucky. To mention transfer from Austin Peay.
And he told me that he was not recruited by Western Kentucky. That was Ray Harper, not Rick Stansbury, who's the head coach there. And then Coach Stansbury got the job. Seemed like a natural fit, and they could have really used his shooting last year when you had Justin Johnson, Dwight Colby. That was such a great interior team, but they had no ability to space the floor at times. That'd be a great matchup. Last year's Western Kentucky team versus this year's Western Kentucky team.
Colby now playing in Japan after spending some time in Belgium. Harper Baker, left hand. Bassey says, no, no, no. Western Kentucky leads by 5, 9-2 this season when leading at the 5-minute mark. 45-3 in this situation under Rick Stansbury. Savage again, and he gets the roll.
I'd keep flashing Edwards in the middle.
There he is. He has it. Harper Baker, and he'll go to the line.
So that's what I'm talking about. And if you're watching this game, you coach Pee Wee basketball, grade school basketball, so many coaches are just like, oh, your big guy needs to be flashing there. Forget that. Your best playmaker needs to be flashing there, because now if he catches the ball, you have 2 defenders behind you. In some cases, you're playing 3-on-2, 4-on-3. It's almost like you're on a power play, but you want your best decision maker with the ball. The great adjustment there by Doc Sadler, because earlier in the game it was Rowe catching it there and Harper Baker. Get your best playmaker in the middle of the court.
The foul was on Savage, his 3rd. They're just resetting the clock to 4:23. And Harper Baker will shoot 2. He's 2 for 3. Now make it 3 for 4 at the line tonight. Coming up next for Southern Miss, Saturday against Marshall. Tim Doyle will be here. Game on Stadium, then Thursday at FIU. Then Saturday, February 2nd at FAU. Back home after spending 8 of the last 10 on the road. They trail by 6 here. Savage gets tied up. And it's going to be Southern Miss basketball.
Excellent defense there by Holland. Once Savage brought it down, Kevin Holland was all over that ball. Don't you feel like a 3 here, Noah? The crowd's going to get involved.
First day students have been back, off for 6 weeks. And by the way, the student at halftime did not win the $20,000 in the shootout. Holland open for 3. Bassey clears the board.
I mean, that's picture perfect offense. Because shooters like to shoot with the ball coming out to them. That's how you shoot if you're in a gym by yourself, and that's a wide open look for Holland.
But he is a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, not a guy who puts the ball on the floor very often. Southern Miss without a field goal in the last 3 minutes. Bearden just throws it up to Bassey. He's got to do something with it. He's got 2 on the shot clock, nowhere to go. Looked like he tried to foul Edwards too. Here comes Griffin. Back to Edwards. Number 1 has 2 more. And the crowd does come alive inside Reed Green.
If you're Western Kentucky, you got to keep playing. You can't go to the stall. There's over 3 minutes left.
And with 10 on the shot clock and 3:02 on the game clock, Rick Stansbury wants to make sure his team has a meaningful possession. Noah Kozlov, Tim Doyle, our stadium crew with you in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, as Southern Miss trying to claw their way back into it, and they have. They trail by 4 with 3:02 to go.
You see Bassey before coming over. I think his timing is his best attribute. He's had 14 points, 14 rebounds. That's his only block. think two things are really his bugaboo. Turnovers, once again, 5 turnovers, 0 assists.
That's 15 in the last 3 games, turnovers.
Yeah, but he's giving you no assists. Like, his assist to turnover ratio is almost 1 to 5, the reverse leg. 10 on the shot clock.
What do you want to see here?
They're going to go high screen and roll with Bassey and have him dive.
Hollingsworth had it poked away from behind in the steal. 14th turnover for Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I'd go right back to Edwards in the middle.
There he is, and he bricked it.
You got your leading scorer shooting a wide open foul line jump shot. If you're Doc Sadler, you can't draw up a better play than that, Noah.
No, that as a coach, that's going to drive you nuts. So, got exactly what we wanted. .230 to go. Bearden trapped along the baseline. Hits Anderson, who flies in for an impressive 2. So that's now 4 in double figures for Western Kentucky. Lead back up to 6. Rowe, 1 dribble, dumped down to Edwards. Trapped. Griffin had Drain open on the right side. Instead, into the corner. Edwards for a 3. Well short. Bassey the board.
Edwards just does not look confident shooting that basketball. He's had some good looks here. That's going to end up being the difference in the game if Southern Miss is not able to pull it out.
Edwards now 3 for 12. Only put up 5 shots in their loss on Saturday when they lost by 16 against ODU. 4 on the shot clock. Rowe denies.
You got to push it now for Southern Miss.
80 seconds to go. We're going to foul on Western Kentucky. The foul is on Hollingsworth. That'll be his 2nd. And those are the numbers on Cortez Edwards. Well below the season average. And Edwards and Griffin have combined to go 5 for 24 and 0 for 6 from 3. And here comes Gabe Watson.
But if I would have told you that before the game, you would say this game would be a blowout.
Oh, for sure. Edwards, the dump down. Harper Baker, the finish. Just the way Tim Doyle drew it up.
And it's been there all game. Now you got to get a stop. Look for a double team here from Southern Miss.
And they'll foul, and it looked like intentionally. And Griffin's a little surprised that they did foul, but that's who they want to foul.
And because Edwards has shot a few of them, you know, Bassey had to at least respect that ability to shoot it, and Bearden goes to the free throw line.
And he hits the first on the front end.
He made some big free throws when they were down against Marshall. Drove in there, stuck his head in there, got to the line. He's one of those veteran guys, and Rick Stansbury counts on him if this team's going to make a run in March.
And they make about 16 per game. They've made now 6 tonight on 6 of 11 from the foul line.
You don't need a 3 yet.
Griffin on the floor. So now he'll go to the free throw line and shoot 1 and 1 as Hollingsworth picks up his 3rd.
This has not been a strength of his on the year. Not awful, but 68%.
And he swirls the first.
You got to start fouling. You can't play it. You got to try to make this game longer. Problem is, all these guys are good free throw shooters on Western Kentucky, and you send Hollingsworth to the line shooting 82%.
Team shoots 73%, as you saw what Doc Sadler has done and not done against Western Kentucky. His lone win against them came when he was the head coach of Nebraska back in '07. I'll put Hollingsworth on the free throw line. 0 for 1 there tonight. He's shooting 1 and 1 here. He's an 82% free throw shooter. Next up for Western Kentucky, Saturday at Louisiana Tech, so they'll head over to Ruston from here. Thursday against Javon Jackson and UTSA, then Saturday at home against UTEP. They opened up 1-3 in conference, now looking for their third straight conference victory. Griffin gives it back to Harper Baker. Someone got a piece of it. Griffin hoists up the long two. And Western Kentucky controls the rebound, and it looks like they're going to have control of this basketball game as well. As Lamonte Bearden is fouled, holding a 7-point lead with 33.7 seconds to go.
You know, Bassey was really the story in the first half. He went out and had a double-double, but he got a lot of help in the second half. Savage, as you pointed out, had some strong baskets. Anderson had that flying dunk, that was really the explanation point. Bearden's played well off the bench.
They've got 5 in double figures. Bearden with 10, Savage with 13, Anderson with 11, Hollingsworth with 12, Bassey with the 14 points and his 16 rebounds. Drain, Watson, and he gets fouled by Bassey. Western Kentucky looking to put together their third 3-game winning streak of the season. And Southern Miss, which had won 3 of 4 after losing 5 of 6. Our player of the game, Charles Bassey, with his 9th double-double of the season. Forced Southern Miss to double team all night. Only with 4 points in the second half, but he's a beast down low. And we got a traveling violation on Savage with 13 seconds left. Griffin, Edwards, and a quick timeout. Trailing by 5. Doc Sadler will talk it over, and Rick Stansberry still not pleased. Leading by 5 with 8.6 to go.
Yeah, this is a message about finishing games. You know, he was telling you and I that it's been frustrating. This is a team that came into this game 10-9. They could easily be 13-6. Heck, they could be 16-3. And just getting it all ironed out, and he's having a teaching moment right now as far as his guys putting the whole 40 minutes together. And I think they had, once again, another game where ebbs and flows. They played really well, and then, lost shooters, and Drain got Southern Miss back in the game. I think putting a whole 40 minutes together, yes, it happened against Wisconsin. Pretty close against Arkansas. West Virginia, pretty close too. But if this team can put it all together, let's think, it's still January. It's a young squad. I'm telling you, they could win a game, maybe even 2, in the tournament if they got in.
And because they started off slow, say they don't win Conference USA, but because they started off the conference part of their schedule slowly at 1-3, that eliminates them from an at-large bid.
No one's getting that large.
Even though, and I understand what you said earlier about Middle Tennessee State last year not getting in, but given that there are so many conferences around the country, including the Pac-12, that would deserve just one bid.
This is going to be a tough year for the quote-unquote little guy, the mid-major, because of the net. It's going to be so hard to raise those numbers. Buffalo is safe. Nevada is safe. But as far as everybody else across the world in mid-majors, and I watch the tournament for 2 reasons. I want to see Cinderellas early and the big boys late. And who knows, if Loyola didn't win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament last year, we would have never had that special story that really captivated the basketball world for 3 weekends.
And that story's over. You had them last night.
Oh, boy.
Against Missouri State, and they scored 35 points and lost 70-35. Griffin hits a 3, and that is too little, too late. They get to 8 threes. They could have used 9. It would have tied this game and sent it to overtime. We said they needed 9 or 10. They get 8 as Western Kentucky holds on to win 66-63 on the road to improve to 4-3 in Conference USA as Doc Sadler's club falls to 11-9 overall and 3-5 in CUSA play.
The Western Kentucky, a balanced effort. It was their sensational freshman early, and then his supporting players stepping up late. I think Southern Miss is going to go back, watch the film of this game, and say there was a lot of opportunities, a lot of missed opportunities in this game where they could have flipped the script and got a signature win at home. But the Hilltoppers move on, and still, in my eyes, the most talented team in all of Conference USA.
You can see Rick Stansberry having his moment with LaDavius Strain. And how about UAB? A win on the road at North Texas, winning by 3. UTSA all over Charlotte. Rice the win over Middle, and La Tech up by 9 over Marshall. That would be a stunner in Ruston.
Yeah, this is going to be Conference USA this year. There are no easy games, and now that FAU, FIU are competitive, each and every conference game, especially on the road, is going to be a dogfight for the upper tier teams.
Great to be with you, pal.
See you in 7 years.
I hope not. They can't keep us apart for that long. For my broadcast partner, Tim Doyle, I'm Noah Kozlov saying good night from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Our final score is 66-63, Western Kentucky over Southern Miss. For more live games, replays of classic games, and daily original studio programming, visit watchstadium.com or search Stadium in your local channel guide. Good night from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.